Welcome to Module 1, Lesson 4. Today we're going to be taking advantage of the fact that the metric system is based on powers of 10 to tie that in to what we've learned about exponents and multiplying and dividing by powers of 10. So we'll be making those metric conversions with what we've learned so far. So if I'm working in units of length, we have the meter. That's sort of like my ones place. 1 meter is the basis of metric units of length. If I have 10 groups of 1 meter, that is a decameter. So if my meter is 1, this is 10 of that basic unit 1. And then we have 100 meters is a hectometer. That's 100 times larger. And then we have a kilometer, or 1,000 meters, 1,000 times larger. We also have, going down, we have a decimeter. That's a 1/10 of a meter. We have a centimeter. That's 1/100th of a meter. And we have a millimeter. That's 1,000th of a meter. And we could change meter out for liters or grams or other units of measure. The prefixes are still all the same. So to get to meters, to decameters, it's going to be times 10. To hectometers is times 100 and times 1,000. And for a decimeter, it's going to be divided by 10, centimeter divided by 100, and millimeter divided by 1,000. Or this is going to be times 10 to the 1 times 10 to the second power times 10 to the third power. Down here, divided by 10 to the first power, divided by 10 to the second power, and divided by 10 to the third power. So you can see how the metric system is really closely related to everything we've been doing. So if I have 2 meters and I want to know how many centimeters that is, well, here I have 2 groups of 1 meter, and I know that 1 meter is 100 centimeters, or 2 groups of 10 to the second power centimeters. You could also say that's 2 times 100 centimeters. And however way we do it, the exponent 2 tells me I'm shifting my decimal 2 places to the right, or my digits 2 places to the left. So there's the 2 zeros here. I'm going to end up with an answer of 200 centimeters. That makes sense. Every meter is 100 centimeters. I have 2 of these, so I have 200 centimeters. Making things just a little bit more challenging here, I have 1 37/100ths of a meter. And how many centimeters is that? Well, that's 1 37th groups of 1 meter, or 1 37/100th groups of 100 centimeters. I'm going to move my digits 2 places to the left. I get 137 centimeters as my answer. Just to kind of review what we had here, 1 meter is the same as 100, or 10 to the second power, centimeter. So I just changed 1 meter out with this because they are equivalent to each other. I have a slightly different problem here. I have 1,480 millimeters, and I want to change that to meters. And I know that it takes 1,000 of these to make exactly 1 meter. So I know, looking at my number, I have 1,000 millimeters plus another 480 millimeters. So I should have about 1.5 meters as my answer. But to get from millimeters to meters, again, there's 1,000 of them, so I need to divide this by 1,000. So I'm going to end up with 1,480 millimeters. I'm going to divide that by 1,000, or 10 to the third power. And that's going to tell me to move my digits 3 places. So my digits are going to move to the right 3 places. So if I do that, my decimal point started out here is going to end up here when I move my digits 3 places to the right. I'm going to end up with, that's going to be equal to 1 and 480 thousandths of a meter, or 1, you can drop that 0, 1 and 48 hundredths meter for that. So one of your homework problems asked you to do this for a number of examples where you're converting and also writing an equation with an exponent. So if I have 50 centimeters to meters, I know that there's 100 centimeters in 1 meter. So my equation with an exponent is going to be 50 divided by 10 to the second power, because I need to divide the 50 by 100, because it takes 100 centimeters to make a meter. And that's going to be equal to making an equation. I need an equal sign. A 2 tells me I'm moving my digits 2 places. I'm going to get and 5/10 meters. And that makes sense. That's a half a meter, and 50 is half of 100. So that would be my answer there, and that would be my equation that I would need to include.